by Ms. Brown. At this point, we'll conduct the election of officers. I conduct that portion of this. I'll now accept nominations for president of the North Harris Community School Board.
I'd like to nominate Mrs. Marla Adams as president.
I have a nomination of Marla Adams by Ms. Batista. Do I have a second? A second by Mr. Hanger. Any further nominations? Any further discussion? All those in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. The next portions then are conducted by the new president, Madam President.
Thank you very much. I will now accept nominations for vice president of the board.
I would like to nominate Mr. Kerry Engel.
Okay, do I have a motion made by Ms. Batista? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Hanger. Are there any further nominations? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion passes 5-0. We now have a position of secretary. Do I have a nomination for the position of secretary?
I'll nominate Steve Hanger.
I'll second that nomination.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion passes 5-0.
Okay.
Okay. It is recommended that the board approve board member compensation by resolution, Indiana Law 2027-7. Do I have a motion to accept this recommendation?
We're not making any recommended changes, correct? We're going to leave the compensation as is?
Yes, that is.
Okay, as defined by the law
Correct.
for the minimum compensation.
Correct.
Okay. I would make a motion that we approve this compensation resolution.
Motion's made by Ms. Batista. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Hanger. Mr. Stroud, how do you vote? Aye. Or Mr. Engel?
Aye.
Mr. Hanger?
Aye.
Ms. Batista?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Great.
It is recommended that the board approve the following items: meeting dates and time for regular monthly meetings, designation of the Cordon Democrat for publications and notices, recognition and appointment of a board of finance. Policy number 0501.1 sets president and secretary to serve in those same roles on board of finance. Do I have a motion to accept this recommendation?
I'll make a motion.
Motion is made by Mr. Engel. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second is made by Ms. Batista. Is there any discussion on this recommendation? The meeting dates and time will remain the same, correct? Second Thursdays of the month at 7 o'clock. Okay. Mr. Stroud, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Engel?
Aye.
Mr. Hanger?
Aye.
Ms. Batista?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. It is recommended that the board appoint the following positions for 2021. Corporation Treasurer, Mrs. Joanne Burson. Assistant Treasurer, Mrs. Judy Jeffries. Extracurricular treasurer, Mrs. Kathy Chin. May I have a motion to approve this recommendation?
I'll make that motion.
Motion is made by Mr. Hayner. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Ms. Batista. Is there any discussion on these positions?
I just want one comment, if I could. We have three highly qualified, excellent, people in these treasurer positions, and I can't say enough about the good that they do to help our schools stay on track. So, I'm glad they're, still with us.
Thank you. We are too.
Yeah.
Okay, the vote is Mr. Stroud,
Aye.
Mr. Engel,
Aye.
Mr. Hayner,
Aye.
Ms. Batista.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Indiana code requires that a public servant who has an interest in a contract or purchase that possibly may increase those public servants' net worth must fully disclose that possible conflict of interest. This disclosure must be filed once each year with the State Board of Accounts. No official board action is required. The public acknowledgement must be met for the following. Mr. Steve Hayner. Hanger Painting Services have been purchased by North Harrison Community School Corporation. Steve is employed by Hanger Painting. Ms. Veronica Batista. Ramsey Popcorn Products are purchased by North Harrison Community School Corporation. Veronica is employed by Ramsey Popcorn.
And I want to say thank you to Hanger Painting for all their services, because, yes, we do purchase some of those services, but we are more than pleased with what we get in our contracts with Hanger Painting. They go above and beyond, and, we couldn't really afford them if we had to pay them what they're worth. So I appreciate all that they do for us.
Thank you.
Thanks. And the popcorn's pretty good too.
Good. I'm glad you like it. Glad you like it.
Okay. Agenda and minutes recommendations. The adoption of the agenda. It is recommended that the agenda for January 14th regular meeting be approved as presented with additions, corrections, or deletions as recommended by the board. And I think there was only one correction.
One correction, for appointment item number one, that's Kira, K-I-R-A.
Everything else was good.
Yes, yes. May I have a motion? Go ahead.
I will make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Thank you. And do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Was that carried?
Yes, ma'am.
Seconded by Mr. Engel. If there is no other discussion with that one correction, we will vote. Mr. Stroud, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Engel?
Aye.
Mr. Hayner?
Aye.
Ms. Batista?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. It is recommended that the minutes from the December 10th, 2020 executive session and regular meeting be approved as presented. Do I have
I'll
a...
make
Go ahead.
that motion.
Motion is made by Ms. Batista. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Who was that? Seconded by Mr. Stroud. Mr. Stroud, any other discussion? I don't think there were any mistakes there, so. Mr. Stroud, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Engel?
Aye.
Mr. Hayner?
Aye.
And Ms. Batista?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, business office recommendations, approval of claims. It's recommended that claim numbers 1203 through 1305 and 1 through 22 be approved as presented.
May I have a motion to approve these claims?
I'll make a motion.
Motion is made by Mr. Engel. May I have a second? seconded by Ms. Batista. Is there any discussion of these claims or questions? Okay, then, Mr. Stroud, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Engel?
Aye.
Mr. Hanger?
Aye.
Ms. Batista? Motion passes 5-0.
Approval of payrolls is recommended that regular payrolls for January 28th through 2021, January 22nd, 2021, and February 5, 2021 be approved for payment.
May I have a motion to approve the payroll?
I'll make that motion.
Motion is made by Mr. Hanger. May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Stroud. Okay. Ms.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Uh,
Just have the motion, a second, and,
We'll get it.
Yeah, I will fix that. Okay, Mr. Stroud, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Engel?
Aye.
Mr. Hanger?
Aye.
Ms. Batista?
aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
It's recommended that bank reconciliation from December 31, 2020 be approved as presented.
May I have a motion to approve this recommendation?
I'll make the motion.
Motion is made by Ms. Batista. May I have a second?
I'll second it. I'll second
Seconded by Mr. Engel.
it.
Any discussion on this?
You know, we make it, I don't want to take any time on this, but why do we have to do this every time? So, yeah, I know I asked, a farmer superintendent one time, and I think I have forgotten.
Well,
Why do we do this every time?
you have to approve that the fact that our books have been balanced from the claims and records that you see. Now, we can, there is a consent, we can look at changing the format structure a little bit. There's called a consent vote that would lump several of these items into one item, and it would be a single vote, but really it's just 3 votes, so it's not a whole lot of work.
I just wonder, I mean, it's just like girls, we do it every time.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a very specific legal requirement on your behalf.
It's like balancing a checkbook every month.
It is the balancing of our checkbook every month.
And it's being safer too. doing
It is,
this way.
and I will say that for all the work that Joanne Burson puts into making sure those things balance, it is probably at least a small pat on the back that we take a single vote in recognition of those
Yeah.
items.
She does a tremendous job. Thank
She
you.
chases every penny.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Stroud, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Engel?
Aye.
Mr. Hanger?
Aye.
Ms. Batista? Motion passes 5-0.
All right, at this point, you may want to shift, just come around so you can see, and I'll make sure that I move Ms. Batista here. So she
Yeah,
can see.
you have to move me. I'm like Sheldon.
That's right. That's exactly what I was thinking about. I'm gonna take this one. Come on, let's still got your phone here. All right, so. Good. All right, here we go. You can stand front. You're good.
You're welcome. We'll go ahead and get started. I'm just going to give a brief overview of our virtual learning program here at North Harrison. Yep. All right, so our virtual enrollment right now, as well as of January 4th, our K through 6 number is at 95. You can see there it's broken down by school, 54 at NHE and 26 at Morgan. At the middle school and high school, we have 223, so a lot more at the middle school and high school than the elementary. What does our virtual learning look like? At the elementary K through 6, we use a program called Buzz. The teachers also use Seesaw and Google Classroom, but Buzz is our main component of our K through 6. Our 7 through 12 uses Edmentum courseware, and Google Classroom as their key components for their virtual program. Buzz and Edmentum are self-paced programs, and they give suggested dates for the due dates, but as long as they continually work, they can complete their work as they need to. The material design for K through 6, Buzz is a curriculum that has interactive lessons, modules, videos, assessments, all within the program. They're engaging, and the students seem to enjoy them once they learn how to use it. At the beginning, it was kind of difficult to get it up and running, but now that we're rolling it, it's pretty good, smooth running. So I have a quick video to just kind of show you, maybe. I might have to flip it back. Right, I got it. And this is the Buzz.
Hi there. New Buzz? Don't worry, it's easy to use. I'm happy to share some great tips to help you get started. Once you log into Buzz, you will be directed to your homepage. Your course cards will probably be the first thing you notice. You can find your current score directly below the name of the course. It shows how many points you've earned out of the total possible points, as well as the percentage you currently have in the course. This progress bar shows how much work you've completed so far. Select the grades icon at the bottom of your course card to check out your grades. Click on your course card or the activities icon to get started in your course and let the learning begin. You will see a few helpful icons while exploring your recent activities. A check mark means your activity has been completed. The paper icon means you submitted an assessment, but your teacher has not graded it yet. You'll see a score for any assessment that has been graded. This is the retake icon. It means your teacher is allowing you to retake an assessment. If you see a message box, you can also see your grade details with the teacher's feedback by clicking on the I icon. Now allow me to introduce you to the other areas of Buzz by using the navicon on the left-hand side of your screen. You can go back to home from here. You can also go to your courses, grades, communication, calendar, and more. Home takes you to the homepage, which shows all of your course cards. Click on grades to see your grades for all of your courses. Here you can see your overall grades and monitor your progression. To see more details about a specific course, click on the course name in this view. Communication shows you any announcements your teacher has posted. Calendar takes you to a page that highlights your scheduled activities. The Avatar Creator lets you create and customize your very own one-of-a-kind avatar. Click on the I icon called Tutorials to view the LinkedIn video tutorials. These will help you navigate, submit work, and get some tips for success. Are you ready to get started in your course? Let's go! Click on the course name, then select Activities to go to your lessons and activities. See? I told you it was easy. Now you're ready to go to your course, look at your grades, and create your own personalized avatar. Have fun!
And then also we have posted
Be
resources.
creative to make a plan itself, to make a pond right here, has pretty much the same borders that it does in the 19th century, on this atlas view. One of the things that we want. Okay.
And then also we have resources that we posted throughout the year on our homepage. On one of the left links, on the very last link, there's a virtual learning link. So we've posted resources on there throughout the year. Our material design for for 7 through 12 is our Edmentum courseware that I mentioned a moment ago.
Edmentum courseware we adopted for all has a lot of different classes on that, and they are kind of like a class to itself on Edmentum. Some of those use Flash or videos. Others, you have a lot of reading, question and answer, quizzes, tests. There's a wide variety of classes offered on Edmentum. Actually, some classes that we do not offer
Online
in our
courses
building.
open up a world of opportunity by leveraging a variety of curricula to support flexible implementations for students and educators. Edmentum provides comprehensive, fully customizable online courses designed to meet the needs of all learners. Our content is aligned to national and state standards and built using proven and research-based instructional design. Edmentum courseware offers best-in-class online curriculum with over 400 engaging courses. Courses address a wide range of educational needs, including original credit, credit recovery, career readiness, college readiness, and higher education. Our courseware enhances the way educators utilize data by tracking content mastery and progress to course completion to ensure program goals are met while saving educators valuable time. Whether students are working at grade level, have fallen behind, or are in need of advanced options, Edmentum's curriculum is customizable to each learner's pace and needs. Our award-winning courseware offers a broad range of core subjects, electives, career and technical education, world languages, and advanced courses, all designed to expand student options and provide learning experiences relevant to the real world. Edmentum courseware extends learning beyond the classroom, supporting graduation rates and ensuring college and career readiness.
For our daily expectations for our K through 6, we do expect the kiddos to be online at 8 o'clock in the morning with their teacher for a live meet, and then after that, they will have individual meets later on in the afternoon, but they have most of the day to work on their work individually at their speed and their schedule.
Hi, I'm Nathan Freed. I'm the middle school principal. I want to talk a little bit about, just expand on the Edmentum courseware. Again, this is for 7 through 12. So basically we have the two curriculums, the Buzz for the elementary base. So the 6th graders in my building are on Buzz. They work with Miss Burson, their teacher. And then I have my 7th and 8th graders along with the high school are on the Edmentum. Basically with the Edmentum program, kind of like Mr. Kellum said, it's pretty much self-paced. Students engage in the learning materials on their own time. They interact intermittently with the teacher. Basically, we have an assigned teacher and maybe an instructional assistant that's available for kids when they have questions that are working virtually at home. They can contact that teacher or assistant and get help. It's a standalone curriculum. They have semester courses. They're all aligned to Indiana State standards. And their progress is tracked by their teacher. They can basically see any time that a student has logged into the system, what time that student has logged out of the system, how much time that student has spent working in the system. All that information can be tracked for the teachers. As I said, there is not a whole lot of interaction. It's more of a self-paced, so they have lesson modules, so they'll log in, they'll pick a class, core content in their regular schedule. There's also electives there for them as well to an extent, and they will work through those lesson modules, gives them tutorials, and basically they're looking at mastery in order to complete that particular lesson module. But that's pretty much what they do at home. Again, these would be our virtual learners with the Edmentum system. Again, this is the progress monitoring. How do we know what they're doing? Kind of like I already said, we're able to track the students and the parent through that course. We'll see if they are on track, if they're behind, even if they're ahead of schedule. So it takes a lot of independence because you may have a kid that really likes social studies but maybe doesn't care for math as much, at least that was me back in the day. So they can go in and choose their social studies, work on that, get way ahead. So then they need to go in and get their math and get caught up in that as well. So they have those options. We try to encourage them to work during the regular school day just to try to stay on schedule with school hours. But we also allow them the flexibility for parents that, if they have other situations going on and a kid cannot log on during the day, as long as they can get that work done during a 24-hour period, we can count them as being in attendance. So there is some flexibility to completing work outside of the school day. So that's our admin coursework, the 7 through 12.
We have done some training throughout the year for our teachers who are in charge of our BUZZ curriculum. We have, looks like maybe 3 trainings, at least an hour, hour and a half. Some are half days to help them maneuver and manipulate inside that program. We also have given some teacher training to all staff for not just for our virtual learning, but for our e-learning that takes place when, COVID hits and we have to go to e-learning. We have given teachers some professional development. Dr. Hatton, you want to talk on that?
Yeah, just a little bit. Not that we knew a pandemic was coming or anything. Initially, a couple years ago, we were a little bit hesitant to do the e-learning. We all felt strongly that it was important for kids to be here in person. With that being said, some of the schools, when there were snow days and things like that, they were having e-learning days. So Dr. Richards and the board agreed to start with some STEM training, technology training, so that if we were going to have a snow day or an e-learning day, that we could do those things. Fortunately for us, we were able to move forward with that because with this pandemic, had it not been for that, all of our teachers have Chromebooks. We've worked to get Chromebooks throughout our school corporation. It was just huge. And I'll tell you, when it first happened, we were swimming upstream. It was very, very difficult. It was tough on the teachers. It was tough on the students, tough on the parents, tough on the administrators. But everyone pitched in and has done a tremendous job. We were so far ahead with the help of Miss Reynolds this year. She's been a godsend in terms of helping to organize this, get it together, keep up with our numbers for our administrators because they're still trying to run their buildings. But we are so much further ahead. We have our 2-hour early release. I've had parents ask me before, hey, what are you doing? Why are you having those 2-hour early release once a month? During that time, it enables our teachers to access these materials. We work in conjunction with 5-Star. Their training has been invaluable. In fact, next Friday we have another one, and it's simply going to be a work session because we've had a variety of teachers asking, hey, I need this or I need that. So basically, they're going to be available for one-on-one sessions with the teachers to meet their needs. So we continue to poll the teachers, ask them, what is it you'd like to see? What do you need? And they give us feedback, and that's how we develop our professional developments. But overall, I feel like it's going really well. Again, we're miles and miles ahead. Thanks to our school board, Dr. Richards, all pitching in, our administrators, Mrs. Reynolds, to just make this work, and the parents' understanding, because this has just been a very, very difficult time for all of us.
This is Veronica. I've got a few questions. It looks like that's what's brought up on the screen now. Coming in tonight with, I know they have had a devastating loss in their family, so we really do appreciate her being here and bringing this, because I do think there have been parents with questions, I don't know if they're asking her or if they're calling, Mr. Creed or Dr. Hatton, or if they're even calling anybody. But the one thing that I had a question about is, I know that everything that we're working with is already part of the Indiana State guidelines and the curriculum. But what my question is, and you may not not know this answer, and you don't have to know this answer, is we have some kids who are not doing our programs, right? They're doing basically homeschooled. So do we have a way to check on that, or are we checking on that to see if they're meeting whatever systems they're using is meeting the state standards, or is that something for a different conversation, different meeting?
Okay, so I don't want you to put this in the Gordon Democrat. We don't get to say jack to the homeschool parents. We can't question their curriculum. We can't ask them where they're going. We had a kid that went to easy peasy homeschool, and we had to say, good luck.
Okay.
So and there are some, when parents ask, we can try to guide them to some of the better products that we are aware of. But when it comes to homeschool, our hands are completely handcuffed. We don't have any means or input in terms of them in homeschool.
Do we have a count of how many kids who are technically being homeschooled?
Well, I don't know an exact count. We lost 62 kids over last year versus this year. A chunk of those did go to, I would say 20 to 30. Is that a fair number, Dr. Hatton? 20 to 30 of those went to homeschool, and about half went to homeschool. And we know of those folks that went to homeschool, if we anticipate a percentage of those to come back to us next year. We spoke to a lot of those families, offered them resources, offered them to be a part of our virtual, and they basically were saying thank you, but we just want to step back with COVID, take the year off, manage our own curriculum, and we're happy with you, and we hope to return. Some of them came back, as across the semester. And then there are others that simply went to other online options because they did not want to participate in our virtual option. And we lost a few to other states where they went to live with a dad or a grandparent because that was going to be their COVID bubble. So we lost them in a variety of ways. I'm going to talk a little bit about our attendance here during my financial report, but those 62 kids represent about $500,000 in lost potential revenue. And so we are hopeful that we'll gain some of those students back.
Okay.
All right?
Yes, perfect.
And I want to thank you, Mrs. Reynolds. I know that you've got a lot going on in your family this evening. I appreciate you coming out, and our two administrators have joined us as well.
Yes.
Okay. All right, and moving on. It's your part, not my part.
Okay, this is now the time for participation at school board meeting. If anybody wishes to speak on the agenda items, please come to the podium, state your name, and you can discuss.
All right, moving on to personnel, resignations and retirements, there are none. Appointments. Kira. We keep it as a placeholder. Okay, we keep it as a placeholder in case it comes on as a late item, in case we have our agenda items. Okay. All right, thank you. Under appointments, Kira Gibson, high school softball varsity assistant facilitator, split pay effective 1/14/2021. Kendall Byerly, high school softball varsity assistant facilitator, split pay effective 1/14/2021. Colin Book, JV softball coach, effective 1/14/2021. Haley Book, girls varsity softball coach, effective 1/14/2021. Sarah Shelton, high school band marching tech volunteer, effective 1/14/2021. Chris Kutsovas, high school baseball volunteer, effective 1/14/2021. Tony Wainscott, varsity assistant baseball coach, effective 1/14/2021. And Micah Napper, baseball volunteer, effective 1/14/2021.
May I have a motion to accept these appointments?
I'll make a motion.
Motion is made by Mr. Engel. May I have a second?
Okay.
seconded by Mr. Hanger. Is there any comment or discussion on the appointments?
I just hope we get a chance to do our work.
That's a good point.
Yes.
He hopes that we have an opportunity to play spring sports.
Okay, Mr. Stroud, how do you vote? Mr. Engel? Mr. Hanger? Ms. Batista? Vote. Mrs. Shelton? Oh, okay.
I'll have to find that for you. I believe he helped us in the past, but I'm not 100% certain. Oh,
I have one, you must have got left out. There was one in mine.
it should be in your packet.
I don't have it, so what was who recommended it that he had been doing this before?
Mr. Pearson made the recommendation.
Okay.
And the motion passed 5-0.
Under other items, a second reading for, no, it's me. Second reading for approval of Neola updates, volume 33, number 1, is required by statute, legislative updates, and federal law. These are items 1220, 2370, 2632, 2700, 3220, 5130, 5610, 5895, 6114, 6325, 8390, 8400, 8405, 8462, 8600, 8800, 9700, 5111.
May I have a motion to accept the second reading?
This is the second reading, Ms. Batista.
May I have a motion to accept the second reading? Made by Ms. Batista. Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Seconded by Mr. Hanger. Any other discussion on this? Okay, Mr. Stroud, how do you vote? Mr. Engel? Mr. Hanger? Ms. Batista? Motion passes 5-0.
All right, it is recommended that the board approve a revised contract between North Harrison Community Schools and Joe Byerly, removing the new bus incentive of $35 a day. Basically, the state used to give reimbursement if you had a new bus. They did away with that. And so they no longer have a new bus, so we're going to reduce that pay of $35 per day.
Thank you, I was wondering about that. May I have a motion to accept this recommendation? Motion is made by Ms. Batista. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second is made by Mr. Engel. Is there any other discussion? Okay, Mr. Stroud, how do you vote? Mr. Engel? Mr. Hanger? Ms. Batista? Motion passes 5-0.
Yeah, Byerly's are completely aware of this.
Yes, ma'am.
We know what we're doing, and we're all on the same wavelength.
Yes, they elected to trade buses, and so they went from a new bus to a gently used bus, giving up that portion of the new contract. All right. In collaboration with our vendors, partner, AdTech, and 5-Star Technology Solution, NHCS has conducted an RFP for Internet access and wide area network services. Upon review of the submitted proposals, it's recommended for NHCS to engage with Educational Networks of America for both services. NHCS has had a good working relationship with ENA, who has been providing the Internet services at the school going on 15 years, and the WAN, or the Wide Area Network service, to Morgan for the last 3 years. The length of the agreement would be 36 months at $878 per month, a savings of $352 over the previous 36-month contract. The new agreement will maintain internet capacity at 1,000 megabits and Morgan link at 200 megabits. The agreement would be effective on July 1, 2021.
May I have a motion to accept this recommendation? Motion is made by Ms. Batista. May I have a second? Seconded by Mr. Stroud. Is there any discussion?
Tech and Five Star in particular had saved our school thousands of dollars every year. So it is worth every penny what we pay to them for their services and for their expertise. That's my opinion.
Right, thank you. Mr. Stroud, how do you vote? Mr. Engel? Mr. Hanger? Ms. Batista? Motion passes 5-0.
It's recommended the board approve permission for the corporation treasurer to make the necessary transfers and appropriations from account to account within each school fund in order to balance out at the year end and to pay additional necessary and customary claims through the month of December 2020.
May I have a motion to accept this recommendation?
I'll make a motion.
Motion is made by Mr. Engel. May I have a second?
Okay.
Seconded by Mr. Hanger. Is there any question or discussion? Okay, let's vote. Mr. Stroud, how do you vote? Mr. Engel? Mr. Hanger? Ms. Batista? Motion passes 5-0.
It's recommended the board approve the resolution to transfer amounts from the education fund to the operation fund. This is the amount that we transfer each month to meet those payroll obligations as set forth by the state.
May I have a motion to accept this recommendation?
I'll make a motion.
Motion is made by Mr. Hanger. May I have a second? Seconded by Ms. Batista. Are any discussion or questions? Mr. Stroud, how do you vote? Mr. Engel? Mr. Hanger? Ms. Batista? Motion passes 5-0. We're now in discussion items.
I have none.
Okay. Informational items.
I'll just wait for my superintendent comment.
Okay. There were no late items.
No, ma'am, no late items.
Board member communication. And does anybody have? Yes, after this.
Is it okay? Very grateful to be nominated by my fellow school board members for vice president. I gladly accept and promise you to do a good job, to continue to do a good job, be approachable, be honest, be open, and be supportive. And especially right now with such a crazy time in our world, and which trickles down to our schools. So thank you all.
And also we wish to welcome our new board member, Mr. Stroud, to our panel. And thanks Carrie and Steve for accepting the positions. And Veronica, we appreciate everything you have done all those years when you were the president, because it's taken me a while to get used to doing this and getting the wording down. So you did a great job. We appreciate it, and we're glad you're still on the board.
Thanks, Marla. 10 years is a long time, and ready for you to take over.
I think Mr. Dr. Richards has something
You can't
here.
hardly, it's hard for you to see in this, but we do have a ceremonial gavel with your dates of service as board president that we will present to you tomorrow when I bring your signature packet over.
Okay, well, you might not get to see me. 'Cause
No, I'll leave it on the porch.
Yeah, my hiding location.
Are you you're in a secret location at this time?
Yeah, me and Batman.
I like that.
So, I do want to deeply appreciate Ms. Batista, her role in our community and her role in our board. She's been someone who's been, as board president, very reliable and someone whose opinion and has always been well considered and well reasoned. And I appreciate her continued service on our board going forward. But really, 10 years is a long time to serve as board president, and this community owes you a debt of gratitude for your service.
Well, I don't know about that, but thank you.
Yeah, we do have a finance meeting after this. I will go ahead and just very briefly, in my comments, just say a thank you to our school community in kind of allowing us to adjust prior week with the e-learning opportunity for that week. I think that was a good move on our part to try and kind of buffer against what we would see in the Christmas holiday, what we are seeing. We've had a relatively good week this week. I don't want to jinx anything. As of 7:52 or 53, knock on laminate, we've had a pretty solid week. And we're going to do it. We're going to make every effort to try to stay open between now and the end of the year. With the vaccines coming on, we may have to make some adjustments and do things a little bit differently than we did in the fall. But it's our sincere hope that we can keep the doors open for our children going forward, because we know that our kids need school. Schools need kids too, because this is a really dry place without kids around. But our kids want to be here, and we really want our kids to be here. I also, while Ms. Renzel's still here, I want to commend her because in her role as the special ed facilitator at North Harrison Elementary and helping us with our elementary curriculum, she already had a full plate. And then with about 2 weeks to go, we realized that our virtual numbers were going to be such that we had to have a standalone. We had to have a structured program for our elementary students. And we began shopping around and looking for alternatives, settled on the Buzz program, and in 2 weeks, we had a virtual program. We had some ideas with that minimum what we were going to do there, but we weren't satisfied with what we were going to be able to provide for our education for our elementary students, and she took care of that. It was a big adjustment. I know we have a couple parents here who got to utilize a little bit of the Buzz program, and it wasn't easy, was it? But it was a program that had structure to it, and it was a program that had some support and standards to it, and we felt like it gave parents the opportunity to work in an asynchronous manner. We had a lot of parents reach out to us and said, look, we can't do the 8 to 3. And even the first semester, we had a third grader that we knew was on third shift. This kid was doing his work. Now, is he still in virtual? Okay, he's back. But for a while, this kid was a third shift worker. He was doing all his work 11 at night till 7 in the morning, because that's when he would work. And so I can't say enough about her efforts and Dr. Haddon's and our two, Mr. Freed and Mr. Kellums, in just getting this off the ground, because it was a huge lift. And I feel good about where we are, and it can always be better. Did we make mistakes? You betcha. But we've learned and we've grown, and I can't be more proud of our kids, our families, and our teachers, because this e-learning is tough. If you think it's tough for kids, it's tough for teachers. Just trying to learn all of the acronyms and how to get into Google Class and how to make those arrangements and share videos. And it's been a huge learning process, but I'm super proud of our school community. All right, let's close this meeting and start our other meeting.
We're going to adjourn this one so we can go to the other one. It is recommended.
I'll make a motion for adjournment.
Okay, thank you. 7:56. We have a second.
Okay.
Mr. Stroud. Mr. Engel. Mr. Hanger. Ms. Batista. Motion passes 5-0. This meeting is adjourned. Ready for the next meeting.
I promise to be brief. Okay, call this meeting to order.
Okay, this meeting is called to order at 7:57. Thank you.
Oh, this meeting is called to order at 7:57 by Superintendent Dr. Lance Richards. It's recommended the agenda for the January 14, 2021 finance meeting be approved as presented, and I do not have any additions, corrections, deletions for the board. Just to let everybody know.
The only two people that can do this are Mr. Hanger and me, so we're going to go. right.
All right.
It's too old for
All right, so the state put this little function in a few years back just to make sure that we reported where our investments were and what where our money is being warehoused in essence. And we bank with First Harrison Bank, and they have all of our payroll accounts, and a lot of our accounts payable go through. They basically have our checkbooks. Then we have roughly $3.8 million with them at any given time. We have $683,000 in a money market account at First Savings Bank in Corden. Every year we come back to both of these banks, we get a little bit of interest. We get 0.4% at First Harrison, and we get 0.7% at First Savings. The reason for that difference really is First Harrison has to work a lot harder for our money because of the payroll obligations, the checking accounts. Now, we talk a lot in here about, education fund, operation fund, debt service, and all those various accounts. Our banks don't see those accounts. They just see that as one big blob of money being banked in warehouse or held in their facility. So we do try to, these are two Harrison County-based institutions, and we try to keep our money here locally and work with it. We do have some investments. Our extracurricular accounts have some CDs. Our high school athletic and our middle school athletic departments have CDs at an interest rate of 2% at First Savings, but the total holdings there are about $17,000 on 3 CDs. We have a savings account for the middle school athletic at Regions Bank. That's kind of a holdover from when the bank was up here in New Salisbury. There's only $2,700 there, and once that one probably will be moved just for ease of use. And then we have a high school athletic has a $12,000 savings account also with First Savings. So a total accounts there of $14,734. So our total investments in CDs for our ECAs is only $31,734. It used to be more. That was kind of where our athletics kind of set their savings accounts for our athletics. Athletics has struggled mightily this year with the COVID, and then the recent restrictions and attendance has hurt even further. But those are where our money, that's where our money and our savings are. The other part of this meeting is just to mention our fiscal indicators. The Distressed Unit Appeals Board, I'm proud to announce that we are in good shape financially. There's nothing that, we will not be being visited by the Distressed Unit Appeals Board folks. As of right now, our funds are in good shape. We're not really sure what's going to happen going forward with the state in this new biennium. We're hopeful. The governor's put forth a 2% and a 1%, but we don't know what that 2% means. Does that include charter schools? Is that money going into vouchers? Because if you're lumping the vouchers and all the charter schools into that, then that 2% really isn't 2% new money for what I consider to be traditional public schools. But we're in good shape right now in terms of our fiscal indicators. You heard that earlier resolution for the transfers from education to operations. That stems back to when the old accounts were the general fund, we had capital projects and all of that. We have to transfer some from education to operations because they have to be paid out of operations, but they're actually education obligations financially. And it's a long story. Every year I bemoan the fact that we have to do it this way. It really ought to just be able to be paid out of our education if they can. The state does not want us to transfer any more than 15%. We only transfer 14% from education operations, and we can't hold that money steady for the last 3 years. So from a financial and a fiscal FISCAL indicator standpoint, I'm proud to announce that our district is in good shape. And that is a brief nutshell for our financial report for the year.
Appreciate all your efforts because it doesn't just fall like that. It takes planning and someone with some foresight to see what's coming down the pipe so we have money to pay what we need to pay for. That we've already had appropriations to be able to do that. So, yeah, it doesn't just fall out so easily. It's a lot of work on your end, Joanne, and also Judy. So we do appreciate everything you guys do. So
if I can, I'm glad you mentioned the appropriation. We got our 1782 back. I want to, just a public announcement on this. That is our tax rate, and the board collectively lowered our max rate by 7 cents. So our tax rate's going to be right at what has been for the last 3 years of 78 cents. It's actually 0.7898. And so if you have a $100,000 assessed value, your taxes are going to go up for schools by a rousing $9. That's just the way it shook out when the formula came out. So I'm proud of our efforts. I'm proud of this board's efforts and our school community's efforts. We lowered our levy, our taxes, by $350,000 to the local community. So, and just trying to make every effort to be responsible stewards of taxpayer dollars.
Is that it?
That's it. Oh, do I close this meeting?
Probably.
Probably. All right. It's recommended that the meeting be adjourned at 8:03 p.m.
Motion is second. I'll make that first motion.
Mr. Taylor has to make the second.
I'll second it.
And everybody in favor?
Yes. Aye.
Carried.
2-0.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Batista. Thank you guys that came out this evening. Bye. I'll be here soon. Hey, did you get back to West Virginia for Christmas?
I did. Got to do some skiing. Had a good time.
Wow.
I know. It's time to get back sometime around there.
Now, are
We'll
you?
see if it happens. That's the plan. I've been in Louisville since 2016, so around here somewhere this way. I miss the mountains.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, we think we have hills here. That's right.
Oh yeah, Colorado is my main goal. I'll get out there at some point.
I just talked to a parent the other day whose family moving from Colorado.
I've got some friends out there. I used to ski out there every winter, so.
I'm gonna try to ski all. I've never skied real. I've only really skied like
Yeah.
skis, back when the ski started.
Yeah. You need to go to Snowshoe, West Virginia. That's what's fun. Oh yeah. Yeah, you're good right now. You already got to wear a mask and do it, so.
I'm good. You know, I'm like, I want a t-shirt.
Time to go to a doctor visit.
Yeah, I'm having a gout flare up, I think. Yeah, every once in a while I get it. Yes, I know. I'm not supposed to eat cold.
Stay safe this month. Bye, Henry.
Not a month, though. Everybody, thanks for all your support with everything, appreciate it. Jack, you doing okay?
Steve's supposed to hit a button on the computer to start.
What they say you did straight? No, I had it up on my phone.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Well, I can hit the start streaming right there.
Oh, okay.
So they just got
It
started.
was about a 5 second delay. I had it pulled up.
Okay, good. Good.
I know, that's a pain, isn't it? I can't listen to Bill Walton or anything else.
Oh, my God, no. I mean, I could probably not want anything.
What's the score?
Almost.
I was gonna say, the next one we talk, stop streaming. Service is fine up there.
Just call Charles.
That's what we're having problems with Vegas login. All right, everybody have a good evening, stay safe. See you, Steve, good to see you.
All right, so can I just X out of it?
So in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see it says stop streaming.
Oh, okay. Stop